right, so let's move over to the transfer portal. What a mess, Charlie. We talked about this off air before we started the show. And I was telling you about, I saw a picture of a player on social media. His profile picture, he's wearing a USC uniform. In the photo itself that he posted, he was wearing a Penn State uniform, and he's flexing up, and he's got a Georgia logo on his right bicep. That epitomizes the transfer portal in one photo. There's three
Yes.
different, yeah, it's just craziness. The whole thing with Marshall, the entire team following the coach, they've got to stop this. They've got to stop it. At least let them play the bowl games. I mean, you're having to field entire new teams. Some of these bowl teams are having to field entire teams to get just to be able to play. Plus, the coaches, if you think about this, the coaches are having to recruit not only the high school kids now, you've got a whole nother recruiting area going on in the transfer portal that we've never seen anything like this. And I mean, if this was free agency, the NFL at least have some control over free agency and some rules that go about it. This is just I can go anywhere, anytime I want to go. What are your thoughts,
Yeah.
Charlie? Jump in there.
Yeah, it is the Wild Wild West, and there are some um legitimate reasons. I mean, it looks like to us the timing is horrendous. And you can put your name in the portal at any point. The most famous is UNLV quarterback after 3 games said he wasn't he didn't, UNLV didn't fulfill their financial promise to him. So he entered the portal back in September. Um, the portal opens for activity and coaches to contact players. I forget the date, 12th or 11th of December or 13th or something. So it is right in the middle of bowl season, all these guys being recruited. Um, I think what the NCAA is trying to do is they're trying to give players an opportunity to transfer before next semester starts. So they can be enrolled in school at the beginning of the
That's the first
semester.
valid argument I've heard for it.
And
Yeah.
so while that obviously does make sense, but it creates a situation now where um, as Lane Kiffin brought up, he feels bad for Duke because he's about to play Duke in a bowl game, and Duke's quarterback Malik Murphy is transfer portal. Does that mean he's not going to play? Coaches handle that differently. In fact, last year the Duke coach let their running back play who had already signed with NC State. He had transferred, already signed with NC State, and yet he was playing in Duke's bowl game. Some coaches are okay with that. Um, I think most coaches are like, you know what? I don't want that distraction. He's gone. We're all about 2025 now. Um, so it is a mess. You've got the Marshall situation where the coach leaves, and then all of a sudden, you've got mass exodus. I mean, 25 plus players in the transfer portal. Um,
He's
the
taking
two
his whole team.
quarterbacks left on the roster, neither one of them played this year. One of them played for Morehead State a couple of years ago. And Army, it's too bad because Marshall plays Army, and the Army guys, they're
They don't get to
nothing
hit
has
that
changed.
transfer portal like the rest of the kids.
No, nothing has changed. Their practice has not changed. They're going at it just like they're going at it like they're about to play the Kansas City Chiefs. So that one could get ugly. But you got the Boise State coach claiming that at least 13 of his players have been illegally contacted by other schools trying
I'm
to
sure
get
they
them to enter
probably
the
have.
portal. I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah.
Um, so it's coaches and alumni and NIL keepers, okay, the money guys, they want other players to know, hey, there's money available here, so get in the portal and come see us. And
And the
it's
rumor mill to go along with that, the transfer portal is just crazy. I mean, you even got rumors about Quinn Ewers not going to the NFL and going to I think it was Oregon that's willing to pay him like four. Again, this is rumor mill. Who knows if any of it's accurate? That they're willing to pay him $4 million a year to transfer to Oregon. So I mean, Jamie, what do you make of all this stuff?
Well, I, to your point, Charlie, like finally a good argument for why you can transfer before the bowl game. I was trying to think of how we solved that one why while he was speaking, but no, we got to have some rules and regulations about it. Number one, and number two, what we haven't talked about yet is how the players are now using it to even get more money, like we saw this week with the Jalen Mbakwe at Alabama. And I mean, we don't know that that's the truth, but one could surmise that, he put his name in the transfer portal and then 24 hours later, he took it out. And then Ryan Williams is saying, nope, he's our guy. He's staying with us. I'm not leaving. Did Ryan Williams give him some extra money? Does Bama now get to counter because Ole Miss was going to pay him $1 million? It's like now it's just getting really like, who can pay me the most? And we're using it in kind of that, like, I don't know.
So I mean, yeah, and we've got the transfer portal and the NIL thing kind of going on together. Who's got the most money? Because I'll transfer if I get more money.
Right.
I mean, it's moved from name imaging and licensing where the kid gets the money if the university sells his jersey, to let's just pay the kids and we're going to pay them astronomical fees because they're not doing like, you see very few of these guys that get the NIL money going and doing commercials for a car dealership. Or I mean, some of them do, but not many. They're just getting the money. So it's gotten to where, I mean, this is, I mean, it is we've used that expression a couple of times, the wild, wild west, but I don't know what else to call it because we've never seen, it's the exact reason Saban, retired. He's like, I don't want to mess with this anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's not about developing players anymore. It's not about loyalty to a program. It's not about how much you can invest in the players. It's how much the sponsors and the boosters can invest in the players, not so much developing someone in skills both on and off the field. What do you guys think is the solution or potential solution or something we could even put, a Band-Aid on it before we even, do the surgery necessary to close this insane hole?
Yeah, that's a great question. The we want to say let's change the timing. Um, if we can move this back to January, which interestingly enough, that over the last 2 years we've had an early signing day, in December where most schools are signing almost full recruiting classes, and that was sort of in response to so many kids wanting to enroll early. Everyone wants to enroll in January and go through spring practice, and coaches love that. And so, okay, well, let's have an early signing day in December. So that's sort of taking care of that. But now we do have this transfer problem as it coincides with the bowl games. Um, I think how it's going to shake out is almost where it is now, and I don't think any of us are going to like this, but non-playoff teams, I think, the bowl season is going to become even less important, and so so many bowls and so many teams are irrelevant now that I think players leaving, coming and going. Some coaches, I think, will blatantly just throw up their hands and say, "Hey, this is our spring game. This is our spring practice. We're preparing for 2025."
Right. Well, and a lot
and
of the kids that are even playing when the transfers come into the team, they may not be getting a shot to play in the spring or in the fall. I mean, they may be 2 and 3 down the depth chart, but they're playing in the bowl game. And then Mr. Transfer comes in and he takes his position.
yeah, yeah, it's and the water gets even muddier if we wanted to make it even muddier because there's another transfer portal window in May. And so, the last several years, we've seen kids transfer to Vanderbilt, lost a defensive back last December to Miami. He transferred to Miami thinking, hey, I'm better than Vanderbilt. I should be playing. I should be getting on the field. Found out in spring practice, he's not as far up the depth chart as he would like. So he hit the portal again, transferred out of Miami. So it does, it gets even crazier. I mean, this
Right.
is
Yeah.
not the one thing that I really don't like about it more than anything is uh, the opportunity and the openings for all the underhanded shenanigans, illegal stuff.
Right.
And, players being contacted through the back door. I mean, Lane Kiffin's not calling any of the Boise State players, but I don't know if he knows his guy, I don't know if he knows Ole Miss people are calling him or not. I don't know if he's orchestrating that. I'm just using him as an example.
Right.
But but um that's being done, and I think that has to stop, and I really don't like the timing. I don't know how to fix the timing. I
Right.
think if you could
Yeah.
make
So
a
we've got a
very
lot of complaints about it, but I don't know that either one of
yeah.
us or Jamie all have
I mean,
the solution.
maybe you just shorten the window and try to get it done in a week in early January or something. But
And
yeah,
if you decide to transfer and you have to up and move your entire life by the time the semester starts in January, then that's on you, right? That's not something really the school should be penalized for. That's the player's choice, right? Jason, I was on a date last night with a guy who went to Miami, and we were talking about this, and it made me think of, usually one of the storylines at the end of the season or postseason is the coaching carousel,
Right.
and
For
how
sure.
the coaches run around, not the players. But because there's so much shuffling of the teams and of personnel, do you guys think that this is not only going to like not have us as many coaches shuffling around because all the players are? Do you think there's not going to be as much kind of responsibility on the coach if they're like, well, my guys keep leaving? Like, whose responsibility is this now?
Well,
when
the coach has to.
when all the players are running around, how do you even build a consistent winning program, right? Or is that really kind of making sure like the general manager and the
What's
coach
the
and
one with the
running
biggest
company?
checkbook? That's how you build the program, is who can buy the biggest program. But you've got to want the kids, the coaches, as a coach, you've got to make those kids want to stay with you. You've got to want them to come and play. But I mean, here's the thing: it's
Well, that's
the
how it was in the old days. That's not how it is now.
yeah. But I mean, if they're playing, if they're getting exposure and they're hitting the playoffs, but it's going to continue to be the rich get richer. It's going to continue. The big programs are just going to get bigger. The smaller programs will start diminishing. I mean, it is. I mean, it's a challenge to figure out exactly how this is going to go. And again, if I were a coach at this point, I would probably retire like Saban did. I wouldn't want to mess with any of this.
yeah,
So,
it's
any last thoughts on the transfer portal?
it it's a it's a everyone is climbing this ladder. I mean, coaches are climbing the ladder. They want to go from Louisiana to Vanderbilt to, you know, Penn State to Notre Dame to Alabama, whatever.
Right.
Everybody wants, whether they're an assistant, whether they're a head coach, players want to do the same thing. And so every year, everyone's climbing that ladder. And I think that you've got you know, the best players. You look at the All MAC team, the All Mountain West team, the All Sun Belt team, and you're going to find so many guys in the portal because now they've proven themselves in
That they're
those leagues.
underclassmen for sure.
They want to go play in a bigger league. Coaches, same way. Um, I don't think there's. I agree with Jamie. I think that's the making players want to be here. That's the old way. Now you're either paying them or you're not paying them. I do. One last thing is the case study that's interesting is that we all know the one coach outside the service academies, the one coach who has said, I'm not playing the portal game, Dabo Sweeney, and got a lot of flack about it. And people all summer are talking about, what, Clemson's not looking, I don't know. I think Clemson's lost their hole in the ACC this year, and Dabo's going to have to start dealing with the portal, if he wants to get this done. And he's like, I don't, I'm not ready to do that yet. And so now we've got Clemson in the playoffs, and he's like, you know what? I don't need no stinking portal. So,
Well,
this
I think
could
that's
be,
also because the ACC is just absolutely trash this year. I mean,
I will grant you that. I will grant you that.
Just call the whole
Clemson
conference
probably
trash.
loses
Way to go,
more.
not a,
Jamie.
Clemson probably
not a
has
lot
more
of
than three
competition.
losses had they played an SEC schedule. I think we all can agree on that. So, yes, there's that.